You're listening to The Wounded Healer, Journeys into Amazing Health, with your host, Star Waters, the wellness and transformational podcast giving hope and restorative health to those who are sick and tired of being sick and tired. Now, here's your host, holistic wellness coach, Star Waters.
Welcome to episode 4 of The Wounded Healer, Journey into Amazing Health podcast. Our special guest today is Eunice Cassius, whose personal story personifies the life of a wounded healer for real. If you were to put the wounded healer in the encyclopedia, Eunice's face would come up. She is a true example of what a wounded healer's life looks like. Eunice is a graduate of St. John's University in Queens, New York. She saw herself a future servant to the world, in her own words, as a big-time lawyer. But soon into her studies, she had a change of heart and shifted her direction, pursuing her life purpose. Eunice obtained a Bachelor's of Science degree in paralegal studies instead. She is now a licensed massage therapist and aesthetician, and she's found joy in serving others in this way. She's a self-inspired student of living a healthy life, and she fully immerses herself into learning as much about fitness and the exercise world as she can. Exploring different lifestyles and choices of eating, Eunice has become very successful in her own personal journey in weight loss as an adult, transforming herself into a beautiful swan. Those are my words. Eunice was born in Queens, New York, to Haitian immigrant parents. Her parents came to the United States in the 60s, barely speaking English. She has 2 brothers, and she now is a resident of Hiram, Georgia. Eunice, welcome to The Wounded Healer. Thank you so much for accepting my invitation. And I know our listeners will enjoy hearing your personal journey today.
Yeah.
Well, the first thing that I want to talk about is your shift in thinking from having this dream, and I'm going to use your words, of being a big-time attorney and using your gift of argumentation to become a paralegal. How did that happen?
It was just a choice to go that route as a prerequisite to go into law school. So I just chose to do paralegal studies to then be able to go into law school.
Oh, I see. So it was, instead of you going directly into law school, you just decided to do something different to what kind of?
Well, the undergraduate.
Oh, okay. Okay,
was
awesome.
paralegal studies, yeah.
Okay. And so where did that degree take you, and
Well, basically, nowhere.
tell us about that?
Once you get a degree, as a lot of people probably experience, just an undergraduate degree, you really can't do anything with that unless you then further obtain your master's or specialty or a doctorate or something like that. So basically, you graduate and they're asking you for 3 to 5 years experience in your field, in which you do not have. So it leaves you with nothing.
Got it. And probably many of our listeners get it as well.
Mm-hmm.
I understand. So what happened once you did that? Where did you go from there?
Just working different various jobs that I found or I had interest in. Just jumping from one job to the next, whatever suited. And I then eventually had to leave New York, and I ended up in Florida. And I was still doing. I was working for a temp agency and just experimenting with different jobs.
Well, That has
Mhm.
happened to a lot of us. We have this vision of what we want to do in life, how we want to serve the world. For me, it was being an interior designer. And I went to college and became an interior designer. But along the way,
Mhm.
as John Lennon says, life is what happens when you're making other plans. Instead of doing any designing of structures, I was designing baby boys. I had two pregnancies while I was in college, and and
Mhm.
shortly after I graduated, I had a third pregnancy. So I decided, yeah, I think these kids need me more than someone else. So it happens. I guess that's pretty normal. Right.
Mm.
So when you and I were talking last week, you had made a statement that I want
Right.
to share with our audience. Well, you considered yourself or called yourself an ugly duckling. I want you to expound on that statement and tell us why you called yourself that.
Oh well, I didn't call myself that. I think I was considered that at a young age.
Oh, okay.
Just the things that you get bullied about or teased about in school. I was always considered a little bit overweight and I guess not the prettiest in the bunch. Um, Maybe um, either the tallest in my class in most of my elementary school days and the biggest. Um, so, yeah, it was just childhood, one of those childhood experiences, unfavorable experiences.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm. I look back on pictures and I'm like, oh, I didn't think I looked that bad, but I don't know.
Yes. Well, we all seem to see it ourselves in the worst light instead of in the best light. And I guess that's just part of, the childhood experience. Well, I'm glad that you explained that because actually I just saw a program on Hulu 2 nights ago about young women and men, for that fact, that had a teacher had them to look in magazines, first of all, to share what they thought was beautiful. It was real interesting what they did.
Hmm.
Everybody looked through them and they came up with the pictures. The young black girls, their visions of what was beautiful were slender white women. And the young white boys, half of them, their view was of a
Hmm.
buff black man. And, it's like, wow. The second exercise that the teacher had them to do was to find a picture that best represented what they felt they looked like. And there were probably about maybe 20 kids in this class, and they were like, maybe like in a gym. So they were all on the floor. They had magazines spread out in front of them. And when it came time for them to pick a picture that best described them in their mind's eye, only one person, and it was a girl, a Caucasian girl, had a picture. The rest of them didn't have a picture at all. And they were looking pretty sad, all of them. It was really horrible. So, how this thing ended up being is that they took quite a few of the young women and trained them to be models. So for this one fashion show, there were black girls, there were, Asian girls, there were heavy set girls, there were real thin girls. And that's really what our population is about. So I think that as young adults and teenagers, we just get a bad rap. We don't have an opportunity. Even sometimes if we feel like, we're okay, like you were saying, being bullied or harassed or whatever, our visions of ourselves can be changed quite quickly. So thank you for sharing that with us. And what is it that you do for a living now?
So I am a licensed massage therapist and a licensed esthetician,
Wow.
and I'm basically running my own business. And I also can hop in and out of um, working for people like chiropractic offices and spas and things of that nature.
Okay. And have you always been interested in both of those fields?
Not always. I didn't grow up dreaming that I was going to be a massage therapist or esthetician. I did not even know that they were career options.
Okay. And so, how did you come about taking on both of those services to others and embrace it as something that you wanted to show up in the world as?
So my health was not in the best condition, and I was just searching. I guess you can put it without even knowing that I was just searching. I was um, working for a temp agency, going from job to job to see what I liked. I didn't see a future to become an attorney at that point, so I was just searching to see what is it that I was supposed to be doing in life. I actually had to go get a massage at one point, and upon getting two massages, there was this one particular massage therapist talked about her schooling and the school that she went to become a massage therapist and how the industry was, and it piqued my interest. So I ended up calling the school she was referring to, and they invited me to come in to take a look. And the day that I went in to go sit down and speak with somebody, I walked out with books and a uniform.
Awesome. Awesome. I love that story.
Yeah. hmm
And so you have been a massage therapist for how long now?
So it's been about 21 years.
Wow. Awesome.
Yes. It's just the craziest thing. No plan for it or anything like that.
Well, when I get back to Atlanta, I'm going to have to hit you up and I'm going to have those hands work my body, girl. Definitely.
Yes, definitely.
So, is there any type of massage that you specialize in?
Oh, geez. So after you've been doing it for so long, um, I never, everyone always asks me what I specialize in. I can never choose a specialty because I like a lot of different variations. They call them modalities for massage. Started to say I specialize in lymphatic drainage, manual lymphatic drainage, and that's a little bit more specific to health, helping people with their health. And I received certification in that once in 2004 and revamped it again a couple of years ago. And then now I'm just I think it's more about learning the trends and what's put out there in society, like cupping came about, especially after the Olympics, and everyone got to see that Michael Phelps received cupping, and it's an ancient form of using cups to detoxify the body, and also now in modern day to massage the body with the cups as well.
That is so cool. I happened to see a picture of the cupping one time
hmm
and I was so intrigued. I just Googled it and looked it up and saw different other examples of it. So, can you tell us how it works?
hmm So right now, I'm mainly doing the manual cupping, utilizing silicone soft cups,
Mm-hmm.
where I take the cup and squeeze it, and then place them on the skin. And when I release, that'll create a suction onto the skin, and the cups will stay on the skin and actually pull up like the blood in that area to come towards the surface to heal that particular area. So say if you have a sore muscle in your on top of your shoulder, you would place the cup, squeeze the cup, place the cup on top of the shoulder, release it so it can suction onto the top of the shoulder, and to help the blood come more into the shoulder. And as we know, blood is healing and it brings oxygen. So it actually helps to relax the muscle and to heal the area because there is a certain strain in that area that's making the muscle tight.
Wow. My daughter just injured herself working out with weight.
Um, yeah, if it's a sprain or strain, um, usually want to assess the area, make sure there's no broken bones or any, major tears or anything like that. And sure, you can use it for sprains to help heal the area quicker. So basically, that's what massage is. Massage is to help the body heal quicker or relax the muscle quicker. And the body basically can do it on its own, but at a very slow pace if we allow it to do it on its own.
Can a person use that technique of cupping to help with an injury like that? Or is it more like muscles?
But in our society today, we're constantly doing numerous things, including working, living, and everything. So massage helps to facilitate quicker healing. So same with the cupping for a sprain or strain, or say like an athlete that needs to recover quicker because they have to go on to the next event.
Okay.
They can use cupping, which
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
um, they often do.
And you said that you use a silicone cup.
Yes.
Are there other types of cups or that could be used?
Yeah. So originally, yeah, cupping came about. Oh, don't get me to quote. It's ancient. It came about where they used animal horns, a husk, to extract like venom that from a snake bite or an animal bite or something like that. And they would put the horn onto the skin where the bite was to extract the venom so they can save that person or not have the venom um, affect the body. So that was like the original form of cupping. Um, and then throughout the years, there's different types of cupping. So there's glass cup where they use fire to create the suction. And you'll probably hear the term of um, fire cupping. Um, and that is to really draw out toxins from the body. Lactic acid,
I see.
the blood will definitely come out of the skin, and that is usually done by a doctor. That is definitely done by a doctor or in a doctor's office, and they would have to then scrape away the bad blood and dispose of the blood, and then the person will heal faster in that nature. And nowadays, you'll find chiropractors and other therapists using glass cups and that are hooked up to machines that will help do the suctioning. And those are just placed on the skin and stay stationary to give the treatment for like about 10, 15 minutes at a time and then to be released. And then that's the end of that treatment. So the silicone cups that I use, I'm able to use them manually and to move with them to glide along the body to actually bring up the blood and move it and push it, which is what I like about it. And it actually really um, relaxes the muscle in a more. Mm.
I am just so intrigued with this. So, does it hurt?
No, it shouldn't hurt.
Even when the cup itself is heated?
Mm. No. Mm-mm. You might feel some warmth. And I have not had it done on me personally, the fire cupping or anything like that. But it's not that they're burning the skin. I think the action of the heat inside the glass will create a suctioning um, reflex or a suctioning action.
Hmm. Well, I am just so amazed and intrigued, and thank you so much for giving the description and how it worked the way that you did, because I think I want to have that done. Now, do you have to have any pain or discomfort, or can you just do cupping just as a general way of taking care of yourself?
I don't know. Yeah, you could do cupping, just the general. As a matter of fact, they use it for cellulite,
Ooh,
to
cellulite.
smooth out cellulite. Yes, and I use it for lymphatic drainage because I'm able to affect the lymphatic system with the cups and to push, be able to push the lymph, yeah, towards the lymphatic nodes for it to be drained more effectively.
Okay. So now tell us a little bit about the lymphatic lymph nodes and how that helps us to heal and how they get where we need to do that in the first place.
Okay, the lymphatic system is our secondary circulatory system that a lot of people don't really know about or focus on because we just really focus on the circulatory system with the blood and it going from the heart through the different throughout the body and then back into the heart to get oxygenated, things like that. So where you have the heart as the pump that moves the blood through the body, the lymphatic system doesn't have a pump. We actually, and then this is the interesting part that if people really paid attention or really see how important this system is, they can achieve better health by taking care of the system because the lymphatic system needs you, the person, to move for it to move because there is no internal pump like the heart. So things like rebounding is perfect for lymphatic drainage. But one of the main ways that the lymphatic system moves is by breathing and breathing properly. So this is why you'll have a massage therapist, coach you in breathing, or a yoga instructor, coach you in breathing, or meditation is so important, just to breathe properly and breathe in and out and do that consistently throughout the day. Whereas now people are so stressed out, you're actually holding the breath. So that way, that in turn makes the lymphatic system not work as properly as it should, and it's not getting rid of any toxins like it should. And you tend to gain weight or create like diseases in the body and because you're not moving that lymphatic system.
Where does it move to? How does it exit out of our bodies?
So right, so we have different lymph nodes and areas where there are drainages. So and most people probably know, like in your neck, you have like lymph nodes underneath your armpits, your inguinals, behind the knees. Um, but the main parts is like underneath the arms, and the thoracic is the main lymph drainage point where that system drains, and the debris and the excess fat or toxins is taken out of the body, diffused through that system and taken out of the body in various ways.
So when you use the cupping method to do the lymphatics, are the cups smaller?
No, they could be the size that you choose to use. It's just that you would have to have the knowledge of where to push and where you're moving the the cups towards. Like I would drain towards the armpits and drain towards the sides of the body, or drain towards the neck and the clavicle.
I am so impressed, Eunice. I just really am. I just hearing that you are a massage therapist. Yeah, I just had in my mind, yep, she massages, and not to minimize that, but I just didn't know the wealth of services that you can do by being a massage therapist. When I think of massage, there are two types of massage that stand out in my mind. One is my favorite, and that is the hot rocks or hot stone
Oh yeah.
massages. And the other one that is all the way the opposite of my favorite, which
Hmm.
is, oh God, I don't look forward to getting it done. And that is the deep tissue massage or
Hmm.
therapeutic. I don't know. Maybe it's deep tissue. But I had one of those one time. I was suffering with
Hmm.
plantar fasciitis, and the masseuse did the deep tissue thing on my heels and my feet. Oh my goodness. You would have thought that I was on one of those medieval stretch tables or something where they were stretching my feet in one
Hmm.
direction and my hands in the other. It was so painful. It was horrible. I wanted to scream out, "Somebody help me!" However, once she
Hmm.
finished, I felt so much better. I mean, I could walk on that hill for about 3 days after that without it being any pain. So, oh my goodness, it was absolutely wonderful. So do you do the hot
Hmm.
stone
Yes, I do.
treatments?
Hmm.
Oh, girl, you know I got to get with you. Okay. I usually only get that done when I go to Jamaica.
Hmm. Oh, okay. That's interesting. Oh no, it's very prevalent
Yes.
here. Hmm.
Okay. So do you you're your own businesswoman, you have your own business, you're self-employed. So if a person or a group was interested in maybe having a retreat or some type of an
Hmm.
event, would you be available to do your services for a fee?
Oh yeah, definitely. I always I'm currently working with a group now that's about to have a retreat um, to see when they would offer these services, and I would come along and do that for for the event. Hmm. That's a perfect setting for me.
Oh, awesome. Absolutely, definitely. So now, how did you start doing the esthetician work?
So skincare, my original massage, well, my massage school in Florida also had the skincare program right next door. And then I would pop my head in and I was intrigued. And I found out a little bit about, what the program was about. And I saw the girls in there and their skin looked marvelous going through the program and things of that nature. And then they use products. So I didn't go to the program right after massage, but I ended up taking up the program 2 years later from getting certified in massage. Because it kind of, well, for me, it was that was just an interest of mine, just an interest. And also after working in a spa as a massage therapist, I also wanted to do the skincare as well.
And so, what does that look like? What does working as an esthetician with people's skin? What are some of the services that you provide for your clients?
Okay, so esthetician is just a broad range of things that you can do. Once you are licensed, you have to get a state license to practice aesthetics. In school, you learn the basics, which is facials, makeup, and hair removal, which is waxing, in order to sit for the state board exam. So those are the basics. And then you learn about product knowledge and chemistry and biology and the different skin conditions and skin types. So that's what you learn in school. And then you come out and you get to train with different professional skincare products and doing the different type of facials. And again, well, with the trend and having the baby boomers coming of age and their concerns, so you're doing anti-aging services. There's just a whole host of specialties that you can get into, and you can go back into school or get a certification to learn how to do the application of like light emitting diode, which is LED, or microcurrent, microdermabrasion, dermaplaning, microneedling. It's just a wealth of things that estheticians can go out there and learn and have a certification for and be able to provide to their clientele, depending on what type of clientele they want to cater to. So it's not just facials, but it can be, because the facial is very relaxing. Matter of fact, I have, once people get a massage and people get, that same person gets a facial, they actually a lot of times say the facial is more relaxing than the massage. So because in the facial,
Wow. Because there's a lot of muscles. Excuse me, I'm sorry. There are a lot of muscles in the face, right?
right, right, exactly. So you learn anatomy and physiology as well in aesthetics. Hmm.
Do you have experience with electrolysis?
That's a separate certification and a specialty that you would go for as electrolysis. And I'm not finding a lot of electrolysis estheticians these days. There are a few, but that's
Okay.
a certification that I did not go for as of yet. Who knows? Maybe I'll go for it
Okay.
sometime in the future.
Okay.
Hmm. But now there's laser as well, so I think people are going towards more getting a laser certification.
Okay. So the difference between the electrolysis and the laser is what?
I would have to research that more for myself as well. But from what I'm hearing, I think electrolysis esthetician will say that electrolysis is still more better than laser. It just depends, but I'm not too sure about the exact differences. But it's, again, it will just be something that I would have to go and specialize in and learn about specifically, and take a few hours or a couple of days to learn and get certified in.
Okay. Well, from what little bit I know, and it's not a whole lot, that's why I posed the question to you. I think that electrolysis is it kind of used with electricity and like a needle or something, maybe a one at a time hair follicle type, charging, whereas the laser is like a specific area that they put the laser stuff on, and it kills or stunts the growth of the hairs.
I believe that's per follicle as well, but again, those two areas I'm not I'm not versed in, so I could not give you the right information at this time. Mhm.
Okay, well that's all cool. We're learning together, and there may be people out there that want to know the difference. And I know for myself, I've had the laser treatment done for facial hairs, and there was a place here in Portland, Oregon, that they actually were able to assist women of color to do
Okay.
that.
Yeah, right.
And because usually the color of the hair plus matched up with the color of the skin,
The melanin. Yeah. Hmm.
yeah, it didn't work very well.
Right.
And so then when I came to Atlanta, I had found a couple of, or I'll just say I found a place that they specialized in working with women of color. um, And so I haven't too much heard anything about that lately, I guess because I haven't been seeking out that knowledge. But I was just kind of wondering if,
Yes. Hmm.
mhm, if that particular treatment had been perfected even more.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely through the years. Just like with anything, microdermabrasion has been perfected. Electrolysis has been perfected, become better. Just our knowledge of the different skin tones as it relates to having these treatments done. There's more possibilities now, and they have perfected the tools and the systems that are used for laser and things like that.
Okay. Well, listen, before we get too far gone, I want to give you this time in the podcast to let people know how they can get in touch with you.
Oh, okay. Well, currently, you can reach me. I can give you my phone number to discuss appointments, and I do mobile services, especially now. So my business number is 770-731-8820.
And
Yes.
that's within the Atlanta, Georgia area. That's all you'll be taking care of, right? Unless someone wants to fly in for your special services. Definitely. And if someone was interested in hiring you to be the massage therapist at their event, they would call you and on that at that number, right?
And work out the details, yes. hmm And I can also give you my email address. It's stressfree17@gmail.com.
Awesome. That just kind of capsulizes what you're all about. That's great.
Yes. I am currently redoing a website. So website is in the works.
So, Eunice, can you share the story that you shared with me about your skin condition when you were a younger person, a child?
hmm Okay, so yeah, I was born with having eczema, and the eczema just has always been with me. And when I look back on it, and I learned that this eczema or this irritation that really doctors didn't have a cure for. They just prescribed you a steroid cream that actually calmed it down, but it would come back. And now I'm knowing what I know now. It is food related, food allergy related, or just environmental related. So I've been dealing with that, and I know the things to do now naturally to help prevent it, which again is food related, and also exercise, diet, exercise, your mental state, becoming stressed out, and things of that nature. So, and then for actually the aesthetically for the skin, around the time I was in like junior high school and high school, which is middle school here in the South, junior high school in the North, I had dark circles around my eyes and my mouth. And like any other teenager, I didn't really focus on that. It was just dark patches. But I, in high school, at my first job, I ran into a coworker of mine who had beautiful brown tone, even toned skin. And I asked her, what did she use on her skin? And she told me, and I ran out to the drugstore, got exactly the products that she told me, and I was able to clear up my skin in 2 weeks. So I guess that intrigued me about products. And so I've been using products ever since. So, of course, that was over the counter products, but still didn't have any notion of the career path of esthetician at that point. I was just doing mini facials on myself and my god sister, just really conscious of the products I would put on my skin because of my eczema. And now I knew how to clear up my skin on my face as well. So when I became an esthetician, it was just like a kid in the candy store to be exposed and to have access to professional skincare, really great product lines that did give a specific result for certain skin conditions and skin types and things. So I'm able to help people look their best and enhance their looks by being able to put together a regimen for them for their skincare needs. And I'm also with the body as well. So, I like to teach people about body scrubs and body wraps. what they can do for their skin as a whole.
Is that something that you assist people in doing?
Yes, as an esthetician, yeah, and a massage therapist. Yeah, I'm all about the spa.
Oh my goodness, I'm so glad that we had this conversation. So, what have you learned about? You talked about food being one of the main sources for your skin condition, and probably everybody else's too. But what have you learned about food that is has been so powerful for you that you would like to share with others?
hmm Well, now that I'm in my, uh, I guess in my 46 year of life,
Okay, just a
so
baby. You're just a baby girl. You're just a baby.
we learn so much, and we come to, and the wisdom is being evolved. So, and also with going to the doctors and things like that, and learning so much. There's certain foods that are like irritants to me specifically. That have certain food sensitivities that will cause me to itch or cause my eczema to flare up. And I I think I'm suffering from internal inflammation, like most people are finding out now. So we learn about anti-inflammatory foods and the things that we can do to help stop that as well. So, and also as an esthetician, we have been learning in the industry that certain conditions like acne, for instance, has to be dealt with internally as well as externally as well. So if you do go to a really good esthetician, they will let you know that and assist you with that. So I do want to get or I should say, I am working on a nutrition certification as well to go hand in hand with the aesthetics, and that way I can fully help my clients thoroughly in their success of healing whatever skin conditions they are experiencing.
And what is your chosen eating lifestyle?
That's a hard question for me. I'm a self-proclaimed foodie, but actually, when you put it that way, what I would like to be is more plant, more plant-based, because I like all kinds of foods. I like the way food is prepared. Just I like to cook. I like to create. I guess so to speak. So. Um, as I evolve and get older, I find myself being drawn to like going back to how things used to be and how my ancestors cooked, cooked from scratch and cooked from natural foods and things of that nature. So I think I'm being drawn to be more plant based, um, and I do enjoy those foods. Those are really good foods.
And as Dr. Phil says, and how is that working for you, Eunice?
I am more healthier when I do eat those foods, more plant-based foods. I think that's in my nature. Um, I was always, well, not always, but if someone had told me in my younger days, hey, I don't, chicken or beef, so to speak, is not really for me. Well, maybe I'll be in a more better condition than I am now. But I had to learn the hard way because those foods do affect me negatively when I do eat them,
Hmm.
and I can feel it. Whereas,
I was going to say, do you feel it right away or does it take a little time?
yeah, you feel it right away. Hmm
Oh, well, that's good that your body responds
hmm
quickly so that there is no mistake.
Yeah.
You should not have eaten that piece of steak, Eunice. Definitely. Definitely.
Well, I feel like I've taught myself to listen to my body even more attentively, especially because of what I do. in terms of massage therapy and aesthetics, I tend to listen to my body probably more than the average person does.
So, will you be conducting classes on food therapy when you get your training?
I hope so.
Hmm.
That that is an interest of mine.
Hmm. Well, hopefully we can hook up and do like a duo or a yeah,
Yeah.
because what I love about living in Atlanta, Georgia, the South people, hey, is that there is
Hmm.
a pretty good sized plant based community. And we all
Hmm.
kind of, get to know one another and everybody has their specialties or whatever. But I think collaboration is always really good because I can learn from you, you can learn from me, and we can learn from someone else. And guess who gets the benefits? The people who are taking the classes from us or are on our Facebook pages or whatever. We don't even know what it feels like to feel
Hmm.
good because we felt bad for so long. There's lots of retraining of people's, how should I say, of their choices that they make and how so many times we are ill, we're sick, we're
Hmm.
not feeling good, but in
Right.
our own
Right.
minds, that's
Exactly.
just the way we are.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what I was referring to when I was saying like I tend to listen to my body more so than the average person because the average person is just running, running, running in this rat race, so to speak. So they don't really have the time or take the time to really listen to their bodies.
We think that that's how normal feels. And even when you talk about being overweight or obesity, food plays so much a part of that as far as food allergies or eating excessive amounts of processed foods and things of that nature. Before we end, I would like for you to talk about your bout with hypothyroidism.
Uh, the one of the great mysteries.
Okay.
So well, now I can probably say that when I was diagnosed in my early 20s, um, of course, as we know now, the doctors, and they still don't know much about it. They're just
Wow.
diagnosing people with hyper or hypothyroidism based on a general scale, if you will, or whatever they call it. But so that was early in my 20s. So I've been dealing with that for a little under 25 years. Um, Taking one pill a day, levothyroxine or Synthroid originally, just to help the thyroid produce the the T. Oh, I should know all this stuff because I've been hearing it for years. The hormone, the thyroid hormone, to help my body. But of course, if my body is not doing it naturally, and it's using the synthetic prescription, so to speak, it is still not, the body is still not working properly or functioning properly. So I turned to holistic medicine and holistic practitioners, naturopaths, and I did an integrative program back in 2011, a very extensive program. For about a year and a half, I was diligently doing it, and I learned that it wasn't just trying to treat the thyroid and fix the thyroid. You had to inadvertently go and help the autoimmune system and the different systems that are involved to help the thyroid function properly. So I learned that, and that's very important and very key. So the first thing you have to do is to cleanse out and also to get control of the inflammation and to heal your gut as well. I learned about healing my gut, which is the intestines, and clean out any parasites and things like that to get rid of or not entertain these allergy causing foods. And I learned about what food sensitivities that they have, such as a gluten sensitivity. Yeah, mainly gluten, I have a gluten sensitivity that will inflame my system. That will in turn not help the thyroid to work properly. Yeah. So I was diagnosed with underactive thyroid, which is hypothyroidism. Doctors still look at me perplexed because they determined that I don't need to take my thyroid out. Thank goodness, because I don't think that's the proper route anyway. People who have had their thyroid taken out, it still doesn't heal anything. I don't think that you should be removing what God gave you. Things should be working properly. But again, modern medicine or Western medicine doesn't help you fix anything. They just mask symptoms. At least that's my thought process, my belief. Hmm.
Yeah, right, right. I kind of echo
Hmm.
that belief as well. Okay, so I'm going to ask you
Hmm.
something that a lot of people will probably want to hear how you processed when you were on your weight loss journey, the long periods of plateaus that you suffered through. You want to recall how that was and how you overcame it?
Um, well, I, I do want to go ahead and say that it's still going on. I think that's just a an effect of being underactive, having an underactive thyroid.
Okay, okay,
But I can overcome it. I know how to overcome it because I have overcome it. Is to be very diligent with my eating and my exercise.
okay,
So it's not one without the other. It's both and it's everything.
okay,
And it's mindset. It's your mindset and um, your lifestyle, everything to be able to overcome it, or to be able to lose the weight or get rid of the weight. Yeah, it really takes a lot of work. Mhm.
Yes, it does. About how many pounds have you actually lost from the time you were younger?
Oh, I've just lost and gained.
Well, yeah,
So
that's
yeah.
that's life. That's life. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
definitely. Okay, well, Eunice, this has been a really intriguing, interesting, informative interview with you.
Hmm.
I thank you so much for bringing your professionalism and your wisdom to the mic today with us.
Yeah, thank you. It was very interesting.
Wow. Well, I want you to be ready.
Hmm.
I want you to stay ready because you may come back on again really soon.
Okay. I would love to.
I would love that. I would love that to
Hmm.
happen. Okay. Is there anything you would like to end this interview with?
Uh, I think we might have covered a lot.
We did. We did cover a lot, and I have learned a lot. Thank you so much. I mean, that whole conversation about the cupping, I have to have that done. I've got to have it done.
Oh yeah. Well, I invite you to come get that done as soon as you can.
All right. I will be back in the A shortly. So,
Mhm.
we're already going to hook up having like a jackfruit session
Yes,
where we can make
exactly.
pulled pork or fried chicken jackfruit.
Yes,
We're going to do it. That's
yes.
right. All right. Well, thank you so much, Eunice.
You're welcome.
And I appreciate you coming on. And until we see each other on Facebook,
Okay, right. Thank you, Star.
thank you so much, Eunice. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening to The Wounded Healer Journeys into Amazing Health. If you enjoyed the show, spread the word. Also, go and subscribe. And while you're there, leave a 5-star rating and a review. We want to know your biggest takeaway from this episode. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at The Wounded Healer Podcast. Thanks again for tuning in. See you next time.